Hi friends, welcome. Today's we see the a small information about Ellen Keller, written by Patrick Pringle. Introduction: Ellen Adams Keller was one of the most remarkable women in the world has ever seen. She was born on 27th June 1880 in Tuscumbia, a small town in northern Alabama. She was a normal child up to 19 months and was active, vigorous, and self-assertive. Stricken with fever, she became so ill that the doctors thought she would die. Instead, she recovered, but the illness had deprived her forever of both hearing and sight. She was also dumb. Her only method of communication with others was by touch. Frustrated by her inability to speak, she gave way to uncontrollable fits of screaming. Her parents made no attempt to control her because they loved her profoundly. Miss Sullivan's efforts to transform the life of Ellen Keller. Ellen's mother had read Charles Dickens' American Notes and vaguely remembered the account of the education of a blind and a deaf girl by Dr. Howe. But Dr. Howe had died 4 years before Ellen was born. Ellen's parents were informed that Dr. Howe's work was being carried on in the Perkins Institution by his son-in-law. They contacted Perkins Institution, and the director of the institution recommended to Annie Sullivan, who was to be Ellen's inseparable companion for the next half century. Miss Sullivan was also blind for some time and her eyesight was partially restored. She was educated at Perkins Institution and then trained to teach the blind. Miss Sullivan offered a doll to Helen and spelled into her hand the letter DOLL in the deaf and dumb alphabet. The chilled attention was arrested by unfamiliar maneuvers and she tried to imitate the finger motion. She was a Herculean task for Miss Sullivan to teach the child because she could not control or discipline the temperous temper of Ellen. She did not want to use force. The child was taken to a lonely cottage and Sullivan taught her more words. The teacher took her to a water pump and made Ellen hold the mug while she pumped water. As the water flowed over the mug and over the child's right hand had spilt water into her hands. Ellen dropped the mug and stood as one transfixed. The child was inexpressibly happy because the mystery of language, grammar revealed her. Sullivan did not teach the girl the rules and definition of the grammar of language. She made the child learn by imitation. The important feature of Miss Sullivan's methods was that the student, not teacher, should choose the what was to be learned. Miss Sullivan was the opinion that the children's curiosity should be encouraged and exploited. She sent regular reports to Ellen's progress to Perkins Institution. Ellen was taken to various places and introduced the different people. Ellen's attempt to learn to speak. Ellen came to know of a blind and a deaf Norwegian girl who had been taught to talk. Ellen quickly spelled into the hands of her teacher, "I want to speak." Miss Sullivan took her to Miss Fuller, the principal of a school meant for deaf and dumb. Miss Sarah Fuller, the principal of the Horace Mann School for the Deaf, agreed to teach Ellen herself. She took Ellen's hand and made her feel the position of her tongue and lips. Each time she made a different sound and then told Ellen to try to imitate her. With unremitting efforts, Ellen continued her lessons in articulation. She repeated words and words sentences for hours using her fingers to catch the vibrations of Sullivan's throat. The movement of her tongue and lips. At the age of 16, she delivered her first public address to the American Association to promote the teaching of speech to the deaf. Ellen's works and her university education. Ellen was a voracious reader. When she was 11, she wrote a little story of her own, The Forced King, and sent it to Perkins Institution as a birthday present. The story was published. One reader was struck by its resemblance of a story called Frost Fairies by Margaret Canby. The two stories were compared, and the conclusion was that Ellen had read Canby's story before she wrote her one. But Canby's story had never been published in Braille. Someone must have read the story to Helen. The idea of the story had stuck in a remarkably retentive memory long after the story itself was forgotten. But it was unfair to call her work as a piece of plagiarism. Some years later, Ellen had published another book entitled The Story of My Life. Ellen went to Washington for the inauguration of President Cleveland and visited the Niagara Falls. She joined Radcliffe College and studies English history and literature, German, Latin, and arithmetic. She worked and played with other normal girls. In 1904, she graduated with honors and became the first well-educated deaf and blind girl in the world. Why do people of all countries admire Helen Keller? Though she was terribly handicapped from her childhood, she fought against her disabilities with determination and became one of the greatest women of the world. Thank you for watching.